Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for this exciting iReadIndies event. We are going to talk about newsletters, and we are lucky to have Miranda MacLeod here with us to lend her expertise. As part of this presentation, we're going to do a Q&A at the end. So go ahead and use the Q&A box that you'll find at the bottom of the screen and just type in your questions there. And then, like I said, at the end, she'll come on and she will answer any questions you have. We won't stop in the middle. If you're not familiar with iReadIndies, we are a collective of self-published authors of women loving women literature. If you're interested in wanting to find out more, please go to iReadIndies.com. Now, I would like to hand it over to Miranda.
Thank you, Casey. Hi, everybody. I am Miranda MacLeod, and I am an indie author. I started publishing in early 2016, and to give you an idea, I started my newsletter, I think, with the first book that I came out with, and I now have just under 3,000 subscribers. I also work as the second half of the iHeart newsletter. And so I have hopefully some knowledge I can share with you. So this is Newsletters 101. And just to start out, the first thing that I hear is I don't need a newsletter. And here are some of the reasons that people think that they don't need newsletters. They're a new author. Why would anyone want to sign up for my newsletter? I know when I put mine in the back of my first book, I thought, this is crazy. No one is going to want to hear from me, and I wouldn't know what to say anyway. And believe it or not, I had 25, maybe 30 people sign up just from that first book that came out. And just because it's my first book doesn't mean that there aren't fans out there already who want to hear about the next one. Another argument that I often hear from authors is, I hardly publish maybe one book. I don't even know if I'm going to do another book. Maybe it'll be 2 or 3 years from now. I have nothing new to sell to people. Why do I need this newsletter? And the main reason is that newsletters aren't just for selling. And in fact, that's really not what they're for primarily at all. Although, of course, selling is the result that you want, but it's not the purpose of the newsletter. And then I have great social media. I can reach people that way. And that can really be true for a certain amount of time. But I remember MySpace. Yeah, I was never on there. I don't think anyone is anymore. You know, Facebook was the big thing, but now it's TikTok or Instagram. It's really hard to keep up. And just when you think you have a handle on how to reach everyone in your social media, they go and change the algorithm and everybody disappears, or you have to start paying for post boosts or things to get to the people on there. If you have a newsletter, those people belong to you. You can reach them whenever and however you would like. And finally, this argument was a hard one for me to get over because it's very true. I hate newsletters, so why would anyone want to read mine? But the main thing that I can't stress enough is that we are not our readers. Lots of people hate newsletters, but a lot of people don't. And I have an example to prove to you that people do read newsletters. In my most recent book launch, I had my email went out. I had 56% of my subscribers opened my email, and 35% of those people clicked on it. So that means over 1,000 people opened this email. I mean, why? I don't know, because I don't like opening these emails, but 1,000 people did. My rank went up, my sales went up, and I got to have control over my launch because I had these people that I was able to reach out to. So you may be thinking right now, fine, I guess I might need a newsletter, but what should I do? So the way to get started, you need to have, first off, a dedicated author email. don't use your personal one. Don't use the one that your grandmother sends you your, holiday cards to. If you use a pen name, try to have your email be that pen name. Have it be something that is just for work, and that you will be able to kind of segment what is going on with those responses to your newsletter and everything in a separate place from your day-to-day life. You will need a physical mailing address. It's a legal requirement for part of the CAN Spam Act in the US. I'm sure in other places too. It is okay, at least in the United States, I know it can be a post office box. It does not have to be your home address. And in fact, I would highly recommend it not be your home address. Remember that you are going to be sending this out to a lot of people that you don't know. So, letting them know exactly where you live is maybe not a great idea. It can even be a virtual post office box. I know I got a post office box for my newsletter. I don't use it for anything else. I don't ever get mail there, but it is a physical mailbox. I just looked around at the post offices in my area, and the rates are different. I live in a town that has a 24-hour lobby. They have more services there, and those PO boxes cost more. I found a smaller town about a 15-minute drive from me, and I was able to get it for half the price because I'm limited to being able to go in Monday through Saturday from 8 to 5, but I don't care because I never get mail there, and I think I check it about twice a year. So, but if you want to do a virtual address, you can do that too. There are even places that you can sign up, and you only have to pay for it if you get mail there, like physical mail that they will scan to you, and it's only when they do that that you pay. So if you don't get any mail to it, you will never have to pay for that address, but you will be following the law. And speaking of the law, you will need an email service provider. And this is because, number one, you want your emails to get delivered. And number two, you don't want to break any laws. There are a lot of requirements for getting people signed up on your list. There are a lot of things in place to keep people from sending spam. And these email service providers are going to give you a way to know that you're following those rules. They stay on top of it. When things change, they will change their service, and then they will let you know what the new requirement is, and then you can just follow along. So what is an email service provider? Basically, it is the service, the company that is going to send out your emails for you and also collect your newsletter email names. There are many, many, many of them, but with all of the authors that I've talked to in different author groups that I'm in, there are three that come up the most often. And so I'm going to go over those to get you started. The number one that people talk about, I think, is MailChimp. And some of this, this is because they are free up to 2,000 subscribers if you want to go with their most basic plan. Now, you're not going to get all of the bells and whistles, but you will get 2,000 names and not have to pay to send emails to them. They also have monthly plans that start at $9.99 for up to 500 subscribers. If you want to get involved in doing a lot of analysis and testing of your emails, then these paid monthly plans are great. But if all you want to do is send like one newsletter a month to 1,000 people, you really don't need to pay for those plans. They start to add up really quickly, especially on MailChimp, because they start at 500, and for every 500 or 1,000 people, you're paying more and more. MailerLite, you only get up to 1,000 subscribers on the free plan, but they start at $10 for 1,000 subscribers. So right there, half the price of MailChimp once you start hitting those higher numbers. And then the third one is something that's relatively new. It's called SendFox, and they work on a different plan. Rather than doing a monthly fee, they have a lifetime, like a one-time fee. So you can have up to 1,000 subscribers for free, and then you pay one time $49 for every 5,000 subscribers that you get. So right now I have 3,000, so I would pay them $49 and I would never have to pay them money again until I hit 5,001 subscribers. But I encourage you to look at these, see if their free plans or their paid plans offer you what you think you'll need, and sign up and give it a try. And all of these will allow you not just to send your newsletter, but to design them in their on-screen like design area. It's usually sort of a, what you see is what you get design, and then they'll have templates. How much you get access to depends on how much you pay. But I really encourage you to just sign up for a free trial if they have it, or just start out with the free plan and play around with it and see if you're comfortable with the way their programs work, because they're all a little different. Okay, so now that you have your newsletter, you've chosen your email service provider, how do I get people to sign up? And I will mention 3 ways, from, I'd say, the best to the less effective, but still something a lot of people do. You can get what's called organic signups. These are people who just organically come to you. They've read your books, they know who you are, they've maybe seen you on social media, and they decide that they want to sign up. So the first thing is, if you put a sign up form on your website, or you create a landing page through your email service provider, you can put that link in the back of your books. It's a slow way if you are not offering them anything. You're just saying, you get to the end of the book, and this is what I did on my first book. You got to the last page and it said, "Hi there, I'm a new author and I would love to keep in touch. Sign up for my newsletter list, and here's the link." And like I said, about 25 people did that. It grew very slowly. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I want to say by the end of the first year, I probably had about 200 people. It grew very slowly until I did the next thing on this list, which is the reader magnet. And you've probably heard of these or seen these in other authors' books. This is the sign up for my newsletter list and I will give you bonus scenes, or I'll send you a short story, or maybe a free novella, or even a free novel as a gift for signing up. That is a much faster way to get what I would still consider organic signups, because this link is going in the back of your book. So the people who are seeing this link and finding out about your newsletter, they have already read your book. They have gotten to that last page and they've decided, I liked that. I want to know more. I want to hear from this person again. So there will be a few people who maybe want the freebie and then they're going to unsubscribe, and that's fine. There's nothing you can do about that. But I know that I went from a few hundred to over 1,000 names pretty quickly once I started offering a freebie, a reader magnet. And what I did with mine, I don't have a lot of extra time to write. I am not great at doing short stories. The idea of writing a full novella or novel that I would just give away was overwhelming. And bonus scenes, I don't tend to cut a lot from my books. If anything, every time I edit them, they get longer. So I didn't have a lot to offer with that. So I actually decided, I had my first book had been out for a little over a year. And I decided that I had earned enough off of it that I would be happy to give it away for free in exchange for growing my newsletter list. And so I took it out of Kindle Unlimited. It's still available to purchase on Amazon, but I started giving it away as my reader magnet. And that meant I traded potential income from it for the possibility of getting a lot more people on my newsletter. And it definitely worked for that. And I didn't have to spend extra time writing something that was dedicated just to being a reader magnet. And then another way that's very popular to grow a newsletter list, but I have some cautions on it, is the contests, giveaways, and swaps. When done sparingly, and when you're choosing to swap or combine resources with an author who really has a good fit with you as far as their readership base and yours, it can be a great way to get new names and to get your work out there to new people. But you are really opening yourself up to a lot more people who want a giveaway, especially when these prizes are not a free book. I've seen people do contests and giveaways for $100 Amazon gift cards, a brand new Kindle, you know, things that are great prizes. And a lot of people are going to sign up because they want to win the prize, but they're not signing up because they want to hear from you on your newsletter. They're signing up because they want to win something. So I know I've participated in a few where we were giving away, I think it was audiobooks in exchange for people signing up for a newsletter. It was maybe 20 different authors. Some of those people are still on my newsletter list, but I would have to say about half of them at least have dropped off, either because they unsubscribed shortly after, or because they just never open anything. So it's a possibility. Use it sparingly and wisely. You will be paying for every name after you get beyond your first 1,000 people. So make sure you're paying for people who actually want to be there. Okay, a word about reader magnets. So this is where you've decided you have your file, your Mobi, your EPUB of your short story or your novel that you want to give away. You have to have it hosted somewhere. You do not want to have to be doing the fulfillment for thousands of people emailing you and saying that they want to sign up for your newsletter list and you having to send them a book. So there are two good options that I can recommend. I actually use both of them. One is Story Origin, the other is BookFunnel. Story Origin has a free option. BookFunnel starts at $20 per year, so it's not a very large expense. And that's for, you can look and compare on their websites what that actually gives you. And in my case, on both of them, I do have paid options that are above sort of the minimum because I want to be able to send out multiple books and things. But depending on where you are in your author journey, you may or may not need all that they can provide. But basically what they're going to do is they're going to store your EPUB and your Mobi. They'll turn it into a PDF for you in some cases, or they will store your PDF. They will get it if you use them for your landing page. They will take the email address and put it in a file for you, or even integrate it with several of the big email service providers. So it can be a really seamless process. They will send that file to the person. And I know for certain with BookFunnel, and I'm not so sure with Story Origin because I don't use it that way, but BookFunnel will walk your readers through loading it onto their Kindle or their e-reader device, so that you don't have to be helping with tech support when what you really want to be doing is writing another book. They also, both of these services do have newsletter swaps that you can sign up for. So you find authors that are also writing in your genre, and you can sign up for each other's newsletter dates and say, I'll promote your book on this date if you'll promote mine on this date. They also both do group promos where you can go in and look for a, like who's doing a lesfic romance group promo, and you can sign up for that and be a part of it and have your book recommended in these group promos. With a warning on that though, right now, the number of authors using either one of these services for the newsletter swaps or the group promos in Lesfic is a very small number. So if you happen to be writing in other genres as well, you might have better luck. Or if you write like thrillers or mysteries and they're Lesfic, but they're also mysteries, you might be able to find something to swap better with that larger genre than you would right now for being able to find it, but it's still a good resource to have. Okay, so now you're collecting emails. You've set up your email service provider. You have your link to a nice landing page. You've got your link put in your book, and people are signing up and sending you their emails. So what do you do with them? Basically, it's called onboarding, and it's a marketing word for welcoming your new subscribers and getting them on board. This can be a single email, or it can be a series of emails, and it is something that's automated. This means that people can be signing up day or night, and you do not have to worry about making sure that they get their book or making sure that they feel welcome to your newsletter list. So that, and the automation it should be something that you can do on a very basic level with even the free plans on all of the email service providers. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Okay, so this is an example of the welcome email that I send out. So it has a little graphic I made that reminds them to claim their copy of my book. That's the Reader Magnet. And then I'll show you in a bit what the rest of it says. But just to talk about the importance of these welcome emails, this is the one email, even if they never open anything from you again, that people are going to open. It's just overall will have the highest engagement because people want their freebie. So even if that's the only reason that they signed up, that they're going to open it. So my welcome email, I looked at the stats, and it has an 87% open rate and a 64% click rate. And eventually 80% of my subscribers do claim their free gift. I assume that probably most of the others might already have the book, and that's why they don't claim it, since it is available to purchase. But people are going to open this. So this is your one chance. If you don't ever get to talk to them again, this is your one chance to say hello and to tell them something that's important. So this is what I do in mine. And if you look at the beige box, you can see it says hi $contact.name.first. That is because I collect the first name, and that is an automated, they will put the first name in there. So it'll say, you know, like, hi, Beverly, Miranda MacLeod here. So I tell them first off who this is coming from and why they're getting it. So they get this within seconds of signing up for my list. It says hello, and it reminds them who I am and why they're getting this. You're receiving this email because you signed up for my newsletter list. And then I tell them that you'll get an email from me a few times a month, and that email will have updates, giveaways, new release information, free books, and more. So you want to make sure that they know what to expect from this thing that they've just signed up for, other than just your freebie. But you definitely want to make sure, if you have this reader magnet, that you give it to them. So you see the blue box there, claim my gift. That is the link for them to go to BookFunnel and download their book. I asked them after that to whitelist me, which is a simple, it just means adding Miranda at mirandamacleod.com to their contact list. So that you don't go to their spam box or to that promo page that nobody ever looks at on their Gmail. If they whitelist you, then you're going to go into their main inbox. So you can't like make them do it, but you can ask them nicely. And then I give them a link. If you're a Facebook user, you can follow me here. That's just the link to my Facebook page. And right now, honestly, I only do one email. But it's been on my to-do list for at least the past year to do what I'm going to talk to you about next, because you can always do more than the minimum welcome. So here is a multi-email onboarding sequence. This is something that, and one of the reasons I didn't do it up until now is that this is something that all of the plans you have to pay usually to get more than one welcome email that's part of your automation. So until recently, it just wasn't worth it to me to pay for that. But now I'm at a point where I think I'd like to give it a try and see if it can be useful. And so what this would be is immediately they get your first email that is the confirmation that they have joined and their link to their free gift. But that's not all they'll get, because 3 days later, you'll automatically send them a second email. And that will be another welcome and something fun. And the idea is that at this point, they're still really excited about you. They just finished reading your book. They've just received the new book that you sent them, and they're probably still reading it. So they get an email from you and they're going to be like, oh, yay, that's the author I'm reading right now. So this is where you could give them something like a bonus chapter or an invitation to your Facebook reader group, just something that they might be more inclined to do right now because they're excited about you. And then email number 3, a week later, you can send them an email that shares something about yourself and asks them for engagement. And asking for engagement is something that you want to do all along with your newsletters, because it gives you a healthier list. And it also makes, when you get responses to your emails, it makes you look less like spam and more reputable to your email service provider. So you're not going to run the risk of having your service interrupted because they don't think that you're a legitimate business person. So if you ask them a question, like you might talk about your writing life, and then you could ask them what is their favorite book, or what is, one character that they would want to have dinner with or something. Ask them to, email me back, bearing in mind that they will be responding to you. And so you do want to check your emails and respond back to them, because you don't want it to be a one-way street where you've asked them for their input and they send you a response all excited because you're going to write back to them and then they never hear back from you. So just make sure if you do ask your readers to engage with you, that you're ready and at a good point in your schedule that you can engage with them too. So this email number 4, a week after that, and this is sometimes, especially if you're a newer author, you might not have an ARC team, an advanced reader and review team set up yet. This would be a great time to ask people if they want to apply for that. You could make a simple application form on your website and send them to that if they want to, volunteer to be on your ARC team and read advanced copies and do reviews for you. If you aren't ready to build an ARC team, or you already have a great one and you don't really need to add people to it, skip this. And instead, you can do email number 5, which is just outright ask for a review. You know that they have read at least 1 and maybe 2 of your books by now. The one that they found to get on your newsletter in the first place, plus the one you've sent them. Ask them to review those books. Give them a link to your Amazon page, your BookBub page, and your Goodreads author page. And just remind them that reviews are really important, and tell them in this email how much you appreciate the reviews and how important they are. And, that's a great way to just increase the number of reviews that you get. a few weeks after they've read these books. Okay, so now you've gone through either your one welcome or your multi-step welcome, and they are on board. Now what do you do? So this is the part where probably a few of you are not going to like this answer because you need to send your newsletter at a regular interval, maybe once a week, maybe once a month, somewhere in between there. I would say probably not more frequently than once a week because that's a lot. It really depends on how often you're publishing, how often you're running sales, and how much you really have to share. But at least once a month is really, you don't want people to forget about you. And if you're someone who publishes like one book a year right now, you're probably hearing that and saying, are you out of your mind? Why would I do a newsletter once a month when I only have a book to sell once a year? And we'll get to that. But I'm serious. You need to actually schedule this. Decide what it's going to be. Once a month, you're going to send it on the 1st of the month, the 5th of the month, the first Wednesday, every other week on Thursdays, whatever it is. Go in and actually put it in your calendar and set a reminder and make yourself do it. And finally, no, you can't just send one email when you have a new book to sell. And if you're asking right now, why not? It's because no one really likes being sold to, and they didn't sign up for your newsletter to have you sell them books. They wanted to get to know you. Your newsletter is for relationship building with your readers, not just for advertising. If you do it right, they're going to buy your books, but doing it right means giving them 9 interactions that aren't you asking them for their money and 1 interaction where you do ask them for your money. It's giving them a lot more where they feel like they want to buy from you rather than you're just begging. So if you're not supposed to sell things or just sell things in your newsletter, what the heck do you say? And this has been, I will admit, this is the hardest thing, and I've been working on it for the past year because when I started out, I was doing the one email when I had a new release. And I think the first year I had 4 new releases. So that wasn't so bad. They heard from me every few months. And then the next year I didn't do so well with releases. And I think I only sent maybe 2 or 3 newsletters that year. And finally, when I decided I needed to be more committed to my newsletter, I had no idea because I had really fallen into the trap of just saying like, hi, I have a new book. Hi there, I have a book that's on sale. Hey, I've got some friends who have books on sale. And that was really not very interesting, I'm sure. So this is what I've been doing. The first thing, talk about your life. And that doesn't mean you have to share things that are personal. I mean, not too personal. You don't have to tell them all about your family and the terrible conversation you had with your mother and, what your kids are doing. And like, just share what you're comfortable with. Some things, I've been talking about my garden, and it's often good if you can share things that aren't going so well in these things because it makes you sound more human. So, I'm sharing all of the ways I've been killing things off in my garden. Talk about your pets, talk about a new recipe, a trip that you're going on, your new car, whatever it happens to be that you can give a little bit of just personal insight and make them feel like they relate to you. Keep the tone casual and fun. Picture writing the email to one reader who's your biggest fan, but like not in a Kathy Bates or Misery kind of a way, because that's scary. And I'm just going to say right now too, do be careful because I know I've experienced and other authors that I know have experienced readers who really, when they sign up for the newsletter, get really overly enthusiastic and you'll start getting 2 or 3 or 4 emails in response to your automated sequence, like sharing their entire life story and talking about how they're just certain that you would be their best friend if you met. And so it can get a little, probably most people out there are great and perfectly appropriate in their interactions, but you do occasionally get that crazy fan. So just be careful with the things that you share. But update your readers on your writing life, especially share what's going on with your work in progress, give them little tidbits that they not only will it make them more interested when the book does come out, but it makes them feel special because they're finding out something about your book that maybe other people don't know. And don't just talk about yourself, highlight other authors. And the iReadIndies author group is a great place to connect with people who are also publishing, and maybe they're running sales. Maybe they're giving away a free book. So, if you know a lesfic author who has a new release or a free book or discounted book, mention them in your newsletter. You can ask them to do the same. You can arrange it ahead of time, or you can just put the mention in there and hope that that will make the other author feel like they'd like to do it too. But whatever you can give that is going to make your readers happy, and free books always make readers happy, discounted books as well. So share whatever you can. It helps to help other people. It's not a competition. It's not like if someone buys my book, they're not going to buy your book. Knowing readers, they will buy as many books as they can afford, and then probably like 5 or 6 more that they can't. So, just keep giving them opportunities to find as many new authors as they possibly can read. Okay, still not sure what to do. This is my template. So sometimes my header will just be my logo, but other times I like to give them whatever my special thing is. So if there's, let's say, a new launch or a free book, I'm going to make a special graphic that goes up there at the very top and tells them what that is. And then I've got my intro. This is where I talk about the plants that I killed and how my cats have been doing bad things to my furniture. But then if I have a new release or a sale, I want to get right to it and give them the links, because you're going to lose interest after people skim the first few lines. So, get to those links right away. Personally, I give them the direct Amazon links to like the main 6 stores, but you can also do, you don't want to use an affiliates link directly in your email, because that goes against Amazon's terms of service for the affiliates program. But you can link to the page on your website that has your affiliates link if that's a program that you participate in. So you might have just a button there instead of the links that says like, tell me more or take me to the book. And then that could go directly to your website, to your dedicated page on your website with that book. And then all of the universal links for that give you your affiliates money. I will say, if you're trying to sell a new release, really weigh the importance to you of affiliate money versus sales of your book, because you'll always lose a few people anytime they have to click more than once. Things happen and people just sort of disappear. So the fewer barriers you give to the buying option, the better. If that's your primary goal, is to maximize the number of books that you're selling, you might want to give them those direct Amazon links. So after that, I'll give them the in other news. And this is where I put blog articles if I've written them. I try to do one every couple of weeks, and I'll link to it. If I haven't, I'll just write a little something there. If I really don't have any other news, I just take it out completely. What I'm working on today, this is the work in progress. Updates on, am I in my first draft? Am I sending it to my editor? Is it with the ARC team? When should they be expecting to see it? And just little teasers to keep people, like right now, I'm starting a new work in progress, and I have told them that it involves Las Vegas and a ranch because that's all I know about it. But I gave them those two things, and who knows what the book is going to end up being. But whatever it is, they're going to, hopefully feel like they have a little bit of that inside scoop when that book actually comes out. Audiobook updates. If you do audiobooks, if you give away codes, your newsletter is a great place to give away those codes. You definitely want to share with your newsletter people that you have a new audiobook. If you don't do audio, leave that part out. And then the Elsewhere and Lesfic. This is where I put the promos for other people for their new books, their sales, their freebies. And then because I work on iHeartLesfic and we do a book of the month poll, I try to keep that in there at least once every month to remind people to go and vote. I also, it's not on my template, but I've started putting a link or a little section toward the end that says, welcome new subscribers. If you have not received your free reader magnet, here is the link, because the emails sometimes do get lost. It had what was it, 87% open rate, but that's not 100%. So those few people that maybe didn't open it, this is their chance, if they've opened this email, to get that freebie that they may have forgotten about. And then this, to get people to read to the end of it, I will often do a giveaway, and I'll ask them for the answer to some sort of a question. Recently, because I was trying to kill weeds, I asked people to tell me how to kill the weeds in my yard. One in particular that was really obnoxious. So people answered that question. Over the summer, I asked people to share their favorite cocktail recipe. And then I chose winners out of those emails to send a free book. So little ways of getting people engaged and making them want to open time after time. Having little giveaways is always a good way. So a few other tips. I suggest hosting the link to your email sign-up form on your own website or on a landing page that you have control over, that URL belongs to you. This way, if you change your email service provider, like I recently did, I was using MailChimp, now I'm using Wix. I don't want to have to go back through all of my books and update that link. So I have always had it on my homepage and various places on my website, and my back of the book link goes to that page, and then the sign up form is embedded on that page. So if I change to a different email service provider, I just put a different form on that page, and I don't have to update all of my back matter. Create graphics for your newsletter. You can use Canva. That is, they have a free option, or BookBrush. It's a paid service, but they do have a really awesome feature where you can make a 3D version of your book. So that always makes it look really nice. And they have lots of very author specific graphics that you can incorporate. So if you like to do your own graphic design and feel comfortable with that, check those out. And it's never too soon to think about being consistent with your branding. If you need a website and you need an email, and get them to coordinate, get your author domain set up, an email that will look professional, where I am Miranda at mirandamacleod.com and my website is mirandamacleod.com. It's really hard to not know who they're talking to. Create a logo that you can use on your website, your newsletter, maybe print it on bookmarks, do all of, tie it all together. Choose a coordinating color scheme that you're going to use on your website and in your newsletters and in any other kind of print material that you might do. You don't have to, but it's a great way to get started, to just be thinking about all those things at the same time. It means that there's less to have to redo later. And make sure people can see your sign-up form on your website. And let me show you what I do. So this top part, top of my homepage, right underneath my menu, is a never miss a new release. It asks for their sign up and has the subscribe button, easy to see, right on the homepage before you even get to any of the rest of the stuff. Also, my social media is up there, so they do not have to look far to keep in touch. Then here's my dedicated page. This is the one that I put the link to in the back of my books. I believe it's mirandamacleod.com/list. And it goes to this page called free book. And I've got my little graphic there, and I've got, again, an embedded form. And then down on my website footer, this is on every page down at the bottom. It's got the sign up. It reminds them what they're going to get. And it also, again, I put all of my social media down there as well. So just ways to always be able to get people's attention and give them multiple ways. Like probably 90% of the people sign up on this free book page, the dedicated page, because that's what I put in my book. But, you know, other people will sign up just because they happen to come across the website. So the one thing I don't do, and, you know, this is really up to you and what you feel comfortable with, is the pop-up screen on your website that asks for signups. Once people have signed up, it can be kind of annoying to them. And if you don't have a way of making it stop, that can be annoying. It is also, though, a lot of people sign up that way if they just happen to go to your website and this thing pops up and says, do you want to join my newsletter list? A lot of people do. So, you know, if it's something that really does not appeal to you, don't do it. But if you're willing to give it a try, you might be surprised how many people you get signing up that way. Okay, so that was a lot. It's been like 45 minutes and there was a lot of information. So what are you supposed to do again anyway? So here are the 10 things. Number 1, make sure you have an author email and a physical address. Preferably have your own website or landing page at this point, but that's optional. Sign up for your email service provider, such as MailerLite or MailChimp. Create your sign up form and put the link to it in your book, along with a clear call to action. So at the end, in the very beginning of your back matter, tell them, I have a newsletter. Here's the link to sign up. You will get this free thing if you do. And then go on with the rest of your back matter. Decide on your reader magnet. It could be something new that you write just for that, or it could be something you repurpose like I did with my debut novel. Choose your delivery service for that reader magnet, book funnel, or story origin. Create your welcome email. Decide whether you want to try an onboarding automation with multiple steps, but you know, you can do it or not. Schedule that newsletter, put it on your calendar and stick with it. If you say you're going to do it once a month, just pick the day and do it. It's easier to get into the habit than to have to constantly be trying to remember, when did I last send a newsletter? I don't remember. And hit up other authors for their sales, their new releases, anything that you can share on their behalf. And finally, ask them to do the same. All right, so I see that we have some questions. Let me see. Okay. I have a question here. Is it easy to transfer from one email service provider to another? Yes, it's relatively easy. Each of the email service providers will give you an option to export a CSV file that has all of your subscriber information in it. Usually they will bundle this. It's your people who've subscribed, it's your unsubscribes, it's the bounced emails. You get all of that information. So if you change to a different service provider, you're going to download that CSV and then you're going to upload it to your new provider. Let's see, can you go over newsletter swaps again? Yeah, so a newsletter swap is when you offer for other authors. And this is, let's say on Story Origin, this is the one I've used most recently. You can go in there and you can say, all right, I am Miranda MacLeod. I have a newsletter. It goes every 2 weeks. These are the dates, and I would put those dates in. And this is, I write lesbian romance. I feature those similar books and authors. And then I just set it out there. And other authors can search through their list of all of these newsletters. And if there's a lesbian author who comes across mine, they can say, oh, that's perfect for me. And they can send me a request through Story Origin's platform that says, hey, can you feature me in your, September 21st email? And I will feature you in my October 2nd email. And it's all very, it's, in this case, the service does it for you. But, this can also just be something where you go into one of the author groups on Facebook and say, I have a newsletter going out next Tuesday. Does anybody have anything that they would like me to share? And if people say that they do, put it in your newsletter and then work with them to figure out when they can do something for you. So if they have a newsletter going out in a couple of weeks and you would like to promote your free book, do that. You can have them do anything. It could be a new release. It could be a sale that you're running. It could be a freebie. It could even be a link to your reader magnet. And that's not a bad way to get signups for your newsletter, because at least you know that they already subscribe to a newsletter of somebody who creates books that are similar to yours. So basically it's just it's swapping. And in the case of Story Origin and Book Funnel, they facilitate that by having a screen where you can see all of the newsletters that people are doing. Unfortunately, like I had said before, there are not a lot of lesbian authors using it right now. I mean, if everybody ran out and signed up for it, then it would, we could all use that platform. But right now there aren't that many people who are doing it. So it will be pretty hit or miss with that. But going into the author groups and the author marketing groups, you'll have a much better chance. Okay, and then I've got another question, last question here. When sending out our emails, is there something we should not put in our emails, things to stay away from? Yeah, so I would say, the usual stuff like politics and religion. I personally wouldn't go there because getting too far into your personal opinions and beliefs on things, it runs the risk of turning off readers. So, and starting fights. So I would stay away from that type of thing unless it really relates to what you publish. I would always stay away from anything that is negative or gossipy or anything that could be seen as trying to harm another author or anything. I mean, not that anybody, I'm sure, here would do that, but just don't get involved in, I would not get involved in any sort of drama in my newsletter. Also, I would avoid anything too personal. Like I said, just for the reason that there can be some odd people out there who will feel like your emails are more intimate than they are, and that everything you're writing in your newsletter that's going to thousands of people is being sent like specially to them. Be careful with putting information in it that can be construed as just giving people too much information about you that they might do something creepy with. And then the other thing to avoid is just avoid focusing only on selling. Avoid having your whole newsletter be, I have a book. Here's the book. Here's the link to the book. Okay, bye. Because that's really not relationship building. So if there's not anything in your newsletter that's fun and not directly related to selling a book, add something before you send it, because yeah, you don't want people to feel like they're just that they're just being used as a way to earn money. But other than that, I can't think of any, like, share whatever you'd like, tell whatever stories. It's sometimes it's sometimes fun to get people to like, if there are certain things that you can tell about in one newsletter after another, that'll be kind of engaging. Like if you have, the saga of finding a new recipe for, meatballs, and you share about it 3 or 4 different times, and you ask people to chime in, and you show a picture of the ones that you ruined, and what, things like that. Like they feel like they're part of this story, and it really gets people to want to open the newsletter just to find out like what's going on with Miranda and the meatballs this time. So yeah, but otherwise, yeah, other than like, don't give your home address, and don't share things that are too sensitive or too inflammatory. I think anything's fair game. And I think that is all of, does anyone have any more questions? All right, I don't see anything, so.
All right. Well, thank you, Miranda. That was fantastic. I took some notes.
Thank you so much.
You bet. iReadIndies is very happy that you did this for us. And thank you for everyone who participated and for the great questions. And we will talk to you again later.